Hello everyone! So I recently celebrated my birthday earlier this month, and today I have a beautiful stack of books to show you. As always, this type of video always overwhelms me a little bit because it just reminds me of how incredibly kind and generous the people in my life are. I get very emotional, very grateful, and today I want to show all of these beautiful books to you and see if you've read any of them, which ones maybe you recommend that I start with, even though my reading list for this year has been failing a little bit. Let's say it's been a bit of a weird year, reading has not been my best, but I'm really hoping to change that on the second half of the year. Hopefully that happens, and I do already have a few books that I want to prioritize, but if there are any here that you feel like are urgent for me to read, please feel free to let me know. But other than that, this is mainly a big excuse to thank all of these beautiful people and show you stunning books as well that I'm very excited to get to. Let's start with a gift from Virginia. Virginia is someone who's been supporting me and my channel for years now, and she's one of the sweetest human beings I've ever had the pleasure of actually meeting now. We were able to meet, I believe it was last year, and it was so lovely. She's just as sweet and kind as I imagined, even more than that, and it was wonderful to get to spend some time with her. We actually are planning to maybe meet again later this month, which is very exciting, and she very kindly sent me this beautiful book. It is called The Wheel of the Year, an illustrated guide to nature's rhythms. It is by Fiona Cook, and I believe the illustrator is Jessica Roux. I do have another book illustrated by her, which is absolutely stunning, and this is no exception, and it just speaks to my soul. All of it, all of the drawings, the nature themes, and it smells so nice as well. I love it. It talks about different impactful moments within a year, how it is connecting with nature. Wherever you may live, there's a rhythm to the seasons, and forming a relationship with your home and its inhabitants is true magic. I really believe that, and it's something that I have been meaning to explore and learn more about. And what a better way to do so than with a beautiful book that gives you all these insights while also being able to look at all of this imagery and dream about it, I would say. It is so beautiful. I absolutely adore it. So thank you so much, Virginia, again. You knew exactly which book to pick. Your message told me that, and I also believe you would love it as well. And just perfect. I don't really know how I'm gonna read it exactly. I might save like each chapter for when it's getting closer to a specific season. I still have to look more into that, but anyway, I'm completely in love. Now, you know the type of friend that we all need, where you say that you really want to read the book, and the next thing you know, they are purchasing it in front of you as a birthday gift. We all need a Sarah in our lives. She gifted me The Will of the Many by James Islington. Islington? I think that's how you say it. This is book 1 in a new fantasy series that everyone seems to be loving right now. So of course I was very intrigued, and I was talking to my friends about it, and Sarah was like, you know what, I'll just buy it for you, like right now, as a birthday gift. And I was like, what? So anyway, this is a new favorite around BookTube, or so I've seen. And as always, I don't know a lot about it, but I know it involves, yes, solving a murder and uncovering secrets that may tear the Republic apart. So possibly a lot of political intrigue as well. It sounds very fast-paced and exciting, intricate and everything, so I'm very excited to try out this book. I don't know exactly when I will read it. It is part of the never-ending list of books that Sarah recommends me, and she has impeccable taste, usually. A moment of appreciation for the map as well. I always love maps in fantasy novels, so there you go. It is so beautiful, and again, thank you so much, Sarah. I am looking forward to reading this one. My lovely friend Victoria from the channel What Victoria Read, who I mention quite often on my channel because I adore her so much, and she did something that I was not expecting, and it was one of the best possible gifts that anyone could have bought me, because she decided to purchase a mystery gift from Melena's Bookshop, which is run again by my wonderful friend Melena. She ordered a mystery gift, and so it was a surprise for both me and her, which was very funny. When I thanked her, I also showed a picture of the items that Melena had selected, and she always does an incredible job. So I was not surprised at all that I adored it, because I always do. She always knows what to pick. It's like magic. And so, of course, Victoria, being the kindest person that she is decided to give me a whole package, and the book that was selected there was this beautiful edition of Tao Te Ching, and this is the moment where I say, I'm not sure I'm saying this correctly, I'm so sorry if I'm not, but it is by Lao Tzu, and it is the first great classic of the Chinese school of philosophy called Taoism, which is a philosophy. I do own, I believe, 2 more books about Taoism and what it means, what it represents, and from the very little I know, because I still haven't really looked much into it, but from the very little I know, it seems like something that I would relate to a lot, or at least be interested in exploring a lot more. And this is the first work of that, and that's so exciting! Dating from around 300 BC. That's insane. Do you ever hold a book, again, with so much history, and think about the weight that it holds, that it still is being read nowadays, or it's relevant somehow? And it is one of those gorgeous new Wordsworth classics. I'm in love with these editions, as you will be also able to see in just a few seconds, but I absolutely love it. Look at all the color palette, it's just stunning. But yes, it apparently shaped Chinese spirituality, art and science so much that no understanding of Chinese civilization is possible without a grasp of Taoism. It is translated by Arthur Waley and has an introduction by Robert Wilkinson. I love it so much. It's so pretty. So thank you again, Victoria, for buying such a special gift. I was not expecting it at all and was very, very happy when I saw it. So thank you so much. And again, speaking of the beautiful new-ish editions from Wordsworth, I decided to also buy a little birthday gift for myself, again from Melena's Bookshop, because of course I love it so much, and she was having a big sale on all of the Wordsworth classics. I don't remember if it was 3 for 2, I think that's what it was, so you would get 1 for free. And how could I pass on that opportunity? I bought 5 classics and I'm very, very happy with my choices. Look how stunning they look together. This is so pretty. So the first one that I have is the complete poems of Emily Dickinson with an introduction by Emma Artnell. Now, I've read a few poems by Emily Dickinson, so I'm not sure exactly which ones here I have read already. And now I have this beautiful, beautiful collection that is a lot about love and nature, apparently. I do believe I will love her works a lot, and I could not resist buying this beautiful collection. So that's the first one that I got. I also got Fathers and Sons, which is a Russian classic that I have been meaning to read for a while now. It's never been exactly on my priority, but recently I've seen a lot of great reviews about it, so I became more intrigued. A political novel set in a domestic context with a universal theme, the generational divide between fathers and sons, set in 1859. And this part is what intrigued me, so it explores the conflict between the liberal-minded fathers of Russian reformist sympathies and their free-thinking intellectual sons, whose revolutionary ideology threatens the stability of the state. I feel like this is one of those themes that will always be relevant, that we should always be reading about in some form or another. And with that in mind, I also got Animal Farm by George Orwell in this stunning edition. Now, Animal Farm I have read a long, long time ago. I barely remember any of it except the feeling that I ended up with after reading the novel. I didn't own a copy and I really wanted one, so of course I took the opportunity. Again, I really, really love this edition. And this book is becoming even more relevant nowadays. It includes Animal Farm and other selected essays as well, which I don't think I've read any of. And of course this has the very famous quote that I remember reading this as a teenager and never forgetting this quote. At the time, I wasn't even sure that I got it, at least the full meaning, but now it's becoming even more relevant, and that's, of course, all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. This is definitely, I'm not much of a rereader, but out of all the books that I would like to reread at some point in my life, this is definitely on top of the list. Both this one and 1984 as well, but I would say this even more. This is like, I would say this is either first or second on my reread priority list. So, and 2 more books, one of them that this one I can say, this is one of the very first classics that I intended to read when I first started BookTube, and I just never got the chance, or you know, it never seemed like the right time, but it is The Age of Innocence by Edith Warton. I don't think I've ever read anything by her, and that feels like something that I need to fix. Sometimes dark and disturbing comedy of manners in its exploration of the eternal triangle of love. So it's not something that I would usually gravitate towards, but with this being such a well-known classic, and I do know a lot of people who love it, I do want to give it a try at some point. And then again, I cannot say this enough, but just, have you seen this cover? It's so pretty. And then finally, a Charles Dickens that I still haven't read. I've read a couple of his novels before. I love A Christmas Carol, I love A Tale of Two Cities. I've also read Oliver Twist and something else that I tried reading the Pickwick Papers. Didn't really get along with it. Maybe one day I'll try it again. But anyway, this is Our Mutual Friend. And what intrigued me the most about this book was the cover. I have to say, because it is somewhat creepy, which I was not expecting in a Charles Dickens novel. This is not one that was, you know, at the top of my priority list for Charles Dickens, but this cover was too good for me to ignore. Right, it is also his last novel and gives one of his most comprehensive and penetrating accounts of Victorian society. Now, that's something that I do want to read about. Then again, this was not one of the books that I wanted to prioritize necessarily when it came to Charles Dickens. But then again, it was on sale, it is beautiful, and with it being a proper exploration of society, and it seems to be a bit dark as well, I'm not entirely sure, but that intrigues me more. So there you have it. That's my pile of stunning Wordsworth editions that I got through Melena's Bookshop, and I'm so happy with them. And since we're talking about this wonderful friend of mine, I might as well tell you what books Melena gifted me. She and her husband, Boy, are both very dear friends of mine, and they sent me a big box filled of beautiful goodies, and two of those goodies were 2 books, because what can I tell you? Anyway, one of them is a non-fiction that I have been meaning to buy ever since she showed it at her shop, so this was perfect. Again, she probably guessed. But it is Jane Austen's Bookshelf. How incredible is this? The Women Writers Who Shaped a Legend by Rebecca Romney. If this is not a dream book for you, I don't know why. As a Jane Austen fan, of course, I was so intrigued by this, and also, can we take a moment to appreciate how floppy this book is? This is the best type of paperback you can give me. Anyway, the only book that I did know she read and loved was Evelina by Frances Burney, which is a book that I do want to read just because of this. But other than that, I don't really know, and I would love to find out. So this sounds like the perfect book if you are an Austen fan, like I am. I still need to read Mansfield Park. I cannot believe I still have that book to read, which will also be taken care of eventually. But then she also gifted me this beautiful edition of The Lies of Lamora by Scott Lynch. Look at this. Oh my god. It's so beautiful, and it was so considerate of her because she knows how much I enjoyed this book back when I read it years ago. I still have to read the sequels, but let's not talk about that right now. I really loved it. It is a fantasy novel, a heist story, a cast of characters that I immediately connected with. Well, yes. I was gonna say, maybe not immediately, but I would be lying. Yes, it was immediately, because the starting chapters of the story immediately grab you and you're like, what's happening? Where's this story going? And then suddenly, a lot of emotional moments that I was not necessarily expecting just hit me like a brick out of nowhere, and it is great. Plus, Scott Lynch's prose. 10 out of 10, I absolutely loved it. So, now I own this beautiful edition. I cannot get enough of it. Oh my gosh, it is so pretty. 10th anniversary. That's exciting. So yes, oh my gosh, Melena, thank you again so much for both of these stunning books. I love them so much. I was about to finish editing this video, but I had a feeling I was forgetting something, and of course I was. I was forgetting the very first gift that I opened, which I absolutely loved, but because it was so long ago, I almost forgot to include it. So, I really want to show you the other 2 books that I got that were very kindly sent to me by Martin, who's also been supporting me for a very long time now, which then again, I'm so grateful for. We have 2 non-fiction books. The first one is Bold, Brilliant and Bad: Irish Women from History by Marian Broderick. And I'm guessing this is, of course, because Martin and a lot of people in my life know how much I love Ireland. I wish I could go there every single year. And so this is a collection of apparently very inspiring women who had an important role, which sounds incredible, of course. World and Irish firsts, women on the wrong side of the law, sporting champions, poets and writers, musical sensations, working class heroines, and so on. This sounds amazing, and unfortunately I'm pretty sure I will not have heard of most of these people, which is very sad. So this is a great way for me to have a little guide with me, and then again, I'm so excited to read it. This sounds incredible. And then the other one, I have to say, as soon as I read the title, I was immediately, like, I swear to you, I almost opened it and started reading it immediately, because it is called The Women's Orchestra of Auschwitz, a story of survival by Sebba. And first of all, this just shows my pure ignorance, because I had no idea there was a female orchestra in Auschwitz. I probably should know that, but I didn't. And then the description just absolutely killed me, because of course these women were being forced to perform in front of German soldiers, and it was their only way of somewhat trying to survive. So I cannot even imagine what all of these people were going through, and getting to know and learn more about the story of these specific women and how they were trying to navigate this awful situation is something that I don't know, this book, I have a feeling it will break my heart. Again, there's so many books here that I feel like are going to absolutely destroy me, and this one in particular really sparked my curiosity. We have a lot of pictures here. I feel like I have to be in the right mood to read a book like this, of course, for obvious reasons, but I'm very excited. So thank you, Martin. Thank you so much for both of these books. They sound absolutely amazing, and I cannot wait to read them. And this is good, because usually I like to have a non-fiction book on the go. I kinda put it in a separate pile than my usual novels that I read. I always like having a non-fiction that I'm also currently reading slowly, so one of these might just be my next one. And from a fantasy heist novel to what will probably be a very heartwarming book, we have another gift, and this time it is from my friend Olivia Savannah, who, again, I love. I mention quite frequently here. She's amazing, and she gifted me Days at the Morisaki Bookshop by Satoshi Yagisawa. And this has become recently a book that I have seen a lot of people enjoying, and I think I will too. This just looks like the most wholesome, heartwarming book ever. You have books and a cat, and that's all I need. A tale of families, love, new beginnings, and the comfort that can be found in books. That is so true. I know nowadays there seems to be a huge trend of cozy books and cozy stories, and a lot of people seem to be tired of those. I haven't read a lot, honestly, out of those that have come up recently. I'm not sure how recent this one is, but it caught my attention. I cannot resist a book that has this sentence as an opening. I just can't. It's about someone who spent their days just locked into this bookshop, and they say, because that's where my life began, and I know without a doubt that if not for these days, the rest of my life would have been bland, monotonous, and lonely. So I had to give it a try. It sounds amazing, and it's the type of book that I would love to bring with me one day and just read it from start to end. No interruptions, you know, just go literally to a coffee shop. I could go to one of those beautiful bookstores that have been opening here in Lisbon that are a stunning bookshop upstairs, and then they have a little coffee shop downstairs, for instance, and you just sit there all day or all morning and you read this in one sitting while drinking your coffee or tea, and it's raining outside, or it could be a sunny day, one of those very comforting sunny days, not too hot but also not cold, you know what I mean? Just basking in the sunlight while you have a snack and get lost in a wholesome story. This is what I imagine myself doing soon enough. Maybe this summer. I could do it at the book fair. That would also be nice. I could do like a little picnic and eat there. I have lots of ideas. Anyway, this is the book that I imagine I could possibly read in one sitting because it just sounds so comforting. So thank you again, of course, to Olivia Savannah. I love this, or I think I will love it. And another gift that I got from my lovely friend Lucy. I have amazing friends. I'm so grateful. All of these people, I swear, they're just the best. But she got me Why Be Happy When You Could Be Normal by Jeanette Winterson, which is the author of Oranges Are Not the Only Fruit. I don't think you have to read her first one necessarily first, but there seems to be some sort of a connection here. Very intrigued by this one because it seems to be a very beloved author, and she seems to speak in a very honest manner about her experiences. This is a memoir about an adopted child, I believe, who's just learning how to navigate life in pursuit of happiness or comfort. I don't know, it just seems to be one of those books that will break my heart probably and then feel like a hug. You know those books, right? That make you feel all the emotions, all the spectrum. This sounds like one of those books to me. And because of it, I think I will like it a lot. So thank you, Lucy. Thank you so much. I love memoirs, especially when it comes to nonfiction. Memoirs and nature books are my favorite things to read. And finally, I have two books that my mom got me. Actually, she was not supposed to. We went to a bookstore together, this new bookstore that opened in Lisbon as well. And I was just there purchasing things for me, you know, but she was very kind to just grab them and give them for my birthday as well. But I couldn't resist, and the books are so cheap. I think we paid like 10 euros for 4 books, if I'm not mistaken, so it's insane. And 2 of those books were these ones. Look at how beautiful they look. They are in great condition, and these are both by the Portuguese author Edith Queiroz, who is someone that is still an author you're required to read during school. Not these books, these are A Relíquia, and also, which other one did I get? O Primo Basílio. Yes, I'm not sure if there are English translations of these books, but if there are, I will leave the title in the description. But this is an author, I've only read one of his books, which again was for school, and that is translated in English. It is called Os Maias, or The Maias, which is a family name, and I love that book. It is a humongous classic, but at the time I remember really enjoying it, and ever since then I've only read, I believe, one other book by him, and I really liked it too. And at the bookstore they had all of his works, I think it was all of them, in this beautiful edition, so I just got number 1 and number 5, and there you have it. They are, it smells like an old book, I love that, but they are in such good condition, and they're incredibly cheap, so how can you resist that? I don't know. And that is it for today. I am so incredibly happy with all of these books. They all look stunning. I cannot wait now to add them to my shelves, see where I'll place them. I think a bookshelf reorganization is due soon. I need to find the energy to do that, honestly, because it's a lot of work, but whenever I do it and whenever it's done, I feel so good and so relieved. Eventually I need to find the energy for that, but for now I'm just gonna place them wherever it feels right at the moment for me. But anyway, thank you again so much to all of you who sent me any of these books or sent me any messages for my birthday or are here just listening to me chatting and rambling a little bit, I guess. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for being here. I'm sending you a lot of hugs. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I hope to see you very soon on a next video or some reading sprints. Bye everyone!